Hello everybody and welcome to the Youth Discussion Awards.
How difficult is it to implement measures to sustain our environment?
It can be very difficult, Lauren. We have a real challenge in that a lot of things that happen in our environment, like wildlife crime, for example, things that affect our wild birds, happen in very distant places where we can't see what happens. So it's a real challenge, but also a lot of what we need to have happen in the environment to protect our environment for the future in terms of damage from climate change, for example, it will come from people out in the wider community doing things for us. So we can't tell people what to do and expect that we need people to decide for themselves this is the right thing to do and to change the way they behave and live their lives.
Some people pick up the dog poo with plastic bags but doesn't put it in the bin. How do you feel about that?
I think it's quite an obvious question. I don't like it very much. I run the Clean Up Scotland campaign for Keep Scotland Beautiful. So we're trying to make sure that everybody picks up after their dogs. And I think that's really the most important thing. It's about educating people to be responsible dog owners, which I'm sure anyone here who has a dog is one.
If you could look down on the earth in 50 years' time, what is the one thing that you would like to see change?
Well, 50 years may seem a long time scale, but it really isn't. It's a blink of an eye in the life of the planet, and unfortunately, as things stand, unless we manage to take quite decisive action on climate change, the world has been only change. Hopefully not so fundamentally that it makes life impossible, but it may change dramatically. So I would like to see in 50 years' time, if we get it right, and we manage to tackle climate change and keep the average temperature increase to less than 2 degrees by 2050. I'd like to see us still having a nice blue planet when you look down from space.
I think that's important for us to have places to play, to build tree houses, to see wild animals. We need to live in balance with these creatures, and to see them in Scotland would be great.
I'm the same, that sense of people understanding our kind of connectedness and how important nature is to us. And I've got a trick for you. If anyone tells us that it doesn't matter, or we're not connected, or all of these kind of trees and all the rest of it, it doesn't really matter, and what we need is more buildings and all of these kind of things, you just say to somebody, will you try and hold your breath for 30 minutes and then tell me that we don't depend on nature?